that you're going to, why are you, this actually matters.
This was this great new message, and I got bored.
You got bored the second I opened my mouth.
Don't believe the hype. We're not cutting Medicaid, Medicare. Nothing's further from the truth.
They found an agency that had twice as many credit cards outstanding as there were employees at the agency.
People who defend the deep state against Doge, against Elon Musk, against Trump's reforms are a real American danger. They're really naive. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. As we're going to rip into Jessica Tarlov here for spreading a lie that Doge is trying to cut your Medicare and Medicaid. It's a lie. I don't know if she knows it's a lie. Probably with the best of intentions, she's just passing on what her ignorant culture has taught her. And we're here to straighten her out and to make sure that this stuff doesn't scare you and infiltrate down to you. This is my defense of Doge. Watch.
A positive sign for Democrats, though, is there seems to be a bit of coalescing around a message that is resonating. So Hakeem Jeffries gave a press conference today. He had up two signs, and one of them says Elon Musk is making $8 million a day in government contracts. The average Medicaid recipient gets $65 a day. And
ooh, it's the rich. They're coming after you. Boo. Elon Musk is rich. He makes $8 million a day on rocket ships, on Tesla cars, on Starlink, on Neuralink, and on X. Did your average Medicaid recipient build $5 billion? He's almost worth $1 trillion. He'll be the first trillionaire within our lifetime. And she's comparing that going, you, $65 a day Medicare recipient, you should be mad at Elon Musk. This is class warfare. And she's already talking about Hakeem Jeffries. Going, Hakeem Jeffries held up two signs. You know what? No one saw it. That's why you're talking about it on Fox, because the Democrat message isn't getting out, because it is not getting traction. It's a nice attempt. You'll change this story within a few days. It'll just be gone forever. They'll go on to a new story.
We know in the new spending bill that Speaker Johnson has put forward and that narrowly passed the House that you're going to, why are you, this actually matters to you.
This was this great new message, and I got bored.
You got bored the second I opened my mouth. No, but it does matter to say that somebody who is running the government in a serious capacity and supposed to be rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse is making $8 million a day, and they want to cut your Medicaid. And you know how serious the threat is, because Josh Hawley, of all people, is saying that he will not allow that spending bill to go through the Senate. He says 21% of the people who live in his state are on Medicaid.
All right, Greg.
Okay.
All right. So that's the accusation. We got that out in the clear. I wanted to give her a chance to make their accusation. Now, for some good truth telling, here's Tim Burchett. I got this from Twitter.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. Sitting out here on the steps of the Capitol this morning, and I was thinking about some stuff that's going on. They're putting out that, Republicans are cutting Medicare, and Republicans are cutting Medicaid, and all they're doing is trying to scare y'all. They got these Soros-backed groups that are pushing this stuff out. You got some...
Hold on. That is true. We're now finding out this is a massive AstroTurf campaign funding Democrats, funding media by George Soros, a billionaire. How much does he make a day, Jessica Tarlov? Why not? Shouldn't we be as suspicious of him as we are of Elon Musk? Magically never considered. And George Soros over the last 20 years has spent way more influencing what people think. He's way richer, way punching above his weight, more so than Elon Musk has, who's only been on the job for like 1 year.
Paid agitators, of course, that are putting this word out in the news all over state and local news.
Paid agitators. I like his voice.
The federal, of course, the national news, not federal news. But, anyway, it's just a lie. It is just a lie. All we're trying to do is cut out the waste, fraud, and abuse. And that will free up what I believe more dollars for the folks that need it.
Now, he's right about that too. That if you want to keep Medicaid going, why not start with cutting the waste, fraud, and abuse, which could be 30% of their budget. It could be more than that. We don't know. They're not even allowed to look. The more they look, the more resistance they get. So I just want to go to Tim Burchett and Elon Musk and Donald Trump and all the people in charge of these Medicare and Medicaid reforms and just looking for waste. Margie Taylor Greene. Is their agenda to get Elon Musk richer? Is that their only agenda? That's the accusation of Democrats, is it's a giant cover-up. They don't really want to reform Medicaid. They don't want to find waste, fraud, and abuse. They want to pay their billionaire, millionaire donors. That's what they're trying to get you to believe. Does that story wash? Does that pass first base to you with Tim Burchett here? I want to know, where's he getting his money from to say this lie that they're not really trying to take Medicaid money from old people and cripples and not give them their money and their retirement? They're really trying to gouge it all, to give it to Elon Musk, who owns 5 giant mega corporations and is worth $1 trillion. That's the claim of Democrats. It does not pass the smell test.
And the people that are behind the misinformation obviously have got a dog in this fight, and the dog is they're getting rich off of it. They're getting rich off the money that...
Now that's ironic that he turns it around and says it's not Elon Musk who's getting rich off Medicaid. It's the people who are hiding the corruption and defending not doing an audit on Medicare and Medicaid that are actually making the millions of dollars. That's a reverse. I'm not doing it. You're doing it to the Democrats. And I'm only saying, does that wash? Are Democrats not acting like they're defending some grift? Because I don't think they care. I don't know that they care about Medicaid, poor, crippled people getting $65 a day. It's no different than how they march out victims when every time Israel, launches a bomb and blows up Hamas, and they roll out the 2 victims, the collateral damage, and go, look what you did. This is what the Israel really wants to do, is they want to blow up civilians. They do this everywhere you go in and try to cut or look at something. They bring out this tiny micro argument to try and make an argument against the giant, to protect the giant corrupt system. So USAID came out and said, we're trying to feed the starving children around the world. And then lo and behold, you find out they were funding, trans musicals, transgender surgeries, Sesame Street in Iraq, but it's for the children. We're trying to just feed hungry children, and you just want to stop starving people from eating. No, we want to go in and reform all of the corruption as you guys march out and hide behind all of these children.
Should be going to folks that are in need, and they are fighting it. Case in point, Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was accused of cutting program in half one time, and all he was trying to do was reduce the delivery system. It cost some places $2 to deliver $1. And so in one instance, he cut $1 out of a program. It cost $1 to get $1 to somebody. So he changed the delivery system. Well, he cut the program in half, and nothing further from the truth.
He's just cutting the administrative state. That's what Reagan did. By the way, you'll see the same thing on education cuts. Anytime a Republican tries to go in or a conservative tries to go in to education, the teachers' unions comes out and says, you're trying to cut teachers. You're trying to cut teachers. No, most of the money goes to administrators. That's the biggest expansion in education, are administrators. As grades went down, they did not hire teachers. They hired DEI. They hired bureaucrats. And so there's more bureaucrats and administrators than there are teachers. So to deliver $1 to your students, you're paying $2 to administration. So you cut the administration, they all say you're trying to cut education. That's how they always do it. They hide behind the children. We're trying to help the children. No, you're trying to protect a bloated, corrupt $1 billion of waste, and you have to go into all these. You probably have to do it at the Pentagon. They're going to say, you're trying to cut the Pentagon and not make us battle ready. No, they're trying to cut the waste so that they can better refocus the money on making the Pentagon battle ready. The IRS is bloated and corrupt. The FBI, the CIA, and now you have a bunch of Trumpers in charge going in and looking for waste, and the Democrats and the left and the media are throwing a giant tantrum. We predicted this last year when Doge was first formed, and MAGA said, we're going to go in and gut and cut. And they've only been working at it for a month, guys. This is 30 days of them trying to stop corruption that's been going on for 40 years. And after 30 days, Democrats and some Beltway state Republicans, I see them, National Review, that's the Rich Lowry gang and Charles C. Cook and all those guys, great conservatives, but man, you're wrong on this one going after Doge, going, Elon Musk is learning that you can't run the government the way that you run a .com business because he went in and gutted his employees, and that's not how the government works. He's only been doing it for 30 days, and they're already announcing failure. Going, you can't do it. No, give him the same 20 years that we gave a corrupt system that is in financial collapse. Right now, the biggest part of our budget, more than our military budget, is paying the interest on our debt. That's what they're defending. That's what the Beltway guys are defending. Don't touch the system. The system's fine. No, the system is so corrupt. Our tax dollars are so corrupt. The FBI under Pam Bondi, we learned last night, is hiding the Epstein files from the leader of the FBI, Kash Patel, and the leader of the Department of Justice, Pam Bondi. They're going against the will of the voters. That's the big message here. That's what they're protecting. And hats off to Burchett here for calling them out.
Just cut the bureaucracy. And that's why they're pitching a fit, because that is their machine. That is their control over you. So don't believe the hype. We're not cutting Medicaid, Medicare. Nothing's further from the truth. Nobody is talking about that in the meeting except for in our meetings. And the only people talking about are the Democrats on the House floor, and they're talking, and their puppets they've got out that are spreading misinformation to the general public. So
they've been directly funded by all this corruption also. So that's why, man, you scratch a liberal, and you'll find corruption everywhere that they raise their ugly head. Now here's Maria Bartiromo with more on the DOGE reform.
Maria.
And of course, you were in that meeting yesterday. What can you tell us?
DOGE is finding things that any business should have under control, but the federal government does not. Let me give you a couple examples.
Okay.
They found an agency that had twice as many credit cards outstanding as there were employees at the agency. They have found fields on computers that say, where is this payment being made to, and to whom is it being made for what? And those fields are empty. They've never been filled out. Money's outgoing. We don't know where it's going. And it's the worst of business practices, and it's happening with billions of taxpayer dollars.
Now, that's a great argument because she's actually pushing against the Beltway Republicans to go, you can't run the government the way you'd run a business. She goes, yeah, that's right. They're bringing in these business practices that every other business has to practice. Make your budget balance. Every household has to live it. If you and I ran our lives like the government, we'd be in jail. If I just kept racking up debt and gave no accountability for my money, if I went to the IRS and said, hey, you're asking me to pay my taxes and give an account of my income, which is all Elon Musk did. He went to all the employees and said, send me an email of the top 5 things that you did this week. They said, oh, no, you can't do that. This is not how you run a government. This is how everything has to run. And they're resisting it. And so she's right. She's going, the argument actually cuts against what these people are saying that are accusing DOGE and of Elon Musk of not knowing how to do. Elon Musk knows how to go in and gut a company. He went into Twitter after he bought it, released 40,000 employees. Just said, you're all gone. Whatever you did for work doesn't work. They need to do the same thing at the government. And the government's resisting, going, that's not how we've always done things. It's actually a really bad argument made by conservatives sometimes, where you go, I want to conserve the way things are done. That's the bad side of conservatives, when you're trying to conserve something that needs to be reformed, liberated against, progressed beyond, transcended, reformed. And you have these guys going, that's not the way it's always been done. Well, the way it's always been done has Health and Human Services Americans sicker than ever before. The Department of Education, Americans with lower test scores than ever before. We're sick and dying. We're unhealthy. Our Medicaid is not stretching far enough. We know this system is corrupt and not working. You had a bunch of people at the Pentagon pushing rainbow initiatives and abject racism against whites and promoting minorities as if your skin color and your melanin means anything, rejecting Martin Luther King's content of character over color of skin. This reformation has to happen. There's resistance. That's what we're documenting here on the show, is there's always some safe person who are angrier at the reformers than they are at the corruption. They're angrier at the auditor than the crime that the audit is supposed to flush out.
Yeah, I was reading that there were like more than 4 million credit cards or something, and there were 2.5 or 3 million people working in government. How's that possible? People had dual credit cards, and then they were using those credit cards for what? Transportation and trips and things like that?
That's just it, Maria. We don't know. When I was state treasurer in Wyoming, the auditors would come into my office at the end of every fiscal year, and they were there for 3 months because I managed all the money in the state of Wyoming. We don't do that in the federal government, and there's absolutely no excuse for the irresponsible handling of U.S. taxpayer dollars. That's what Elon Musk is looking at.
Yeah.
He is finding waste, fraud, and abuse, and it's extensive.
Yeah, it's bigger than we ever thought. The government is so wasteful, I don't even know if it's possible to reform it. I think you have to just cut the FBI flat out. Kash Patel needs to collapse it and reform a new bureau of some kind because it could be too far beyond an audit. It's so corrupt. And people are there to protect that system. Look, if you gave me a government credit card and said, Doug, only spend this on government things, I'd be tempted every day to go, that Amazon book I want, that's a government thing. That movie I want, that subscription I want, that's a government thing. I have to feed my family. They're part of the government. Let's buy some eggs. So, of course, the waste, fraud, and abuse is bigger than we ever thought. And we have to, in general, keep supporting and defending Donald Trump, the reformers, Elon Musk, the reformer, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, RFK Jr., all the way up and down the line. Pray for them to have wings on their feet. They have about 2 to 4 years to pull this off. It's a tiny window of government. We have one shot at this, and then it's going to be full speed. The giant dragon of corruption is going to fund the opposition and try and throw these people out saying it didn't work. I'm Doug in exile. Give us a subscribe. That's how you say thank you.